Hi everybody, I'm Rebecca Braley, the Assistant Race Director for Zoom Multisport Racing, and we're here to talk about beginner and intermediate tips for triathlon and multisport racing. So first, let's talk about how to prepare for a triathlon. The most important thing is to just start training. And Zoom offers a variety of resources on our website, including full training plans from 90, 60, 45 days out from your race to focusing just on one aspect of the event. We can help you surge your swim or boost your bike or improve your running skills. So there's plans out there for each one of those. But it's just really important to start being consistent in what you do, training for the distance that you are preparing for. Secondly, you got to do a brick workout, which at first sounds a little bit funny, but really all that brick means is that you're doing more than one sport. So you're swimming and then biking, or you're biking and then running, which actually is probably one of the most important bricks that you can do, because what you might be surprised about is what your legs feel like when you go to run after doing the bike. So that's a workout that I always highly recommend that new athletes do, to just kind of get that feeling and know a little bit more what to expect on race day. So brick workouts just means going from sport to sport if you can. Of course, it's great to swim, bike, and run at least a couple of times before your race, but sometimes time limits or availability of a pool or things like that make that more difficult for some people. So it's not essential. It's just, kind of get into a rhythm of knowing what it feels like to go from one sport to another, even if you can't do all three. And then also you want to get into open water before the race. Open water is very different than a pool swim, just from the standpoint of, you don't have the ropes to guide you the same way as you do in the pool. You may deal with some traffic where it feels a little bit overwhelming at times. And then also the visibility within a lake in Ohio is also, a factor for a lot of people. You just kind of have to get used to what that feels like. And even some of the most seasoned athletes get a little bit of anxiety when they first get in the water. So just knowing what that feels like and what to expect will help you a lot when it comes to race day over again. Okay, so what should you wear during a triathlon? Well, you do not have to go out and buy an expensive triathlon suit. You can use things that you already have at home. So for ladies, you can just wear a swimsuit with a sports bra underneath if that makes you more comfortable, which personally I do recommend that. You could wear just a pair of bike shorts or snug fitting workout pants with a sports bra on top, and you can pull a shirt on for the bike and run portion if that makes you more comfortable as well. But of course, if you want to invest in a triathlon suit, there are, plenty of affordable options out there in the, $50 to $75 range that are all really, really good quality that you would be able to use for several seasons. So it's really up to you and your comfort level, but just know that you really do not have to, spend that kind of investment. A lot of people think that triathlon is more expensive than it really is, because they look at, pro athletes and stuff and think, oh my gosh, there's so much equipment involved. For men, there are a lot of similar options where you can just wear some swim trunks or a Speedo. Ideally, you want your outfit to fit close to your body. Again, you might deal with some traffic. There may be more drag and stuff in the open water, so just consider something that's more snug fitting. Again, bike shorts can be an awesome option. They're basically like triathlon pants. They just might not dry as quickly and might hold water a little bit more. Or of course, same thing for men. If you are more comfortable wearing a triathlon suit, feel free to invest in one of those, but know that it's not a requirement for your first race. Okay, so let's talk about what gear you actually need. Again, when you look at some of the more professional athletes or people who do this every weekend, you may feel a little bogged down on, how expensive things can be. That's not really the case. It can be really simple. So the real gear that you actually need, a good pair of goggles that you're comfortable swimming in, socks, right? You want some running socks, preferably low on cotton, because cotton tends to hold that moisture, which there's going to be a lot of during a triathlon. So good running socks, running shoes, an old towel that you can use that you don't really care what happens to during the triathlon, because you're actually going to probably lay that on the ground in your transition area to use to keep your feet dry as you prepare for the next event, which we'll talk about in a later segment. And then a bike. And some people think that this is where you can really go crazy and spend a lot of money for a triathlon. And of course you can, but you don't necessarily need to. And, what I always tell people is, get on Facebook Marketplace and, buy an old bike that people just aren't using anymore. Go to a garage sale, borrow your neighbors that you've seen carrying dust in the garage. It does not have to be anything super fancy. It can be a mountain bike, a cruiser, road bike, anything that's really on two wheels and matches USAT's requirements. It'll get you there. It does not have to be something super fancy. And then, a swimsuit or other workout apparel, which we covered in the last couple of slides. Just something that you'll be comfortable wearing on race day. And then, super important, you absolutely have to have a helmet. That is required for the race. You cannot start the bike portion of the event without a helmet. So make sure that you have a helmet that has not yet expired. Again, you don't need to go out and buy the most, aerodynamic helmet, something super, super expensive. A $20, $30 helmet protects your head just as well as those, $200-$300 triathlon helmets. The expensive ones are just designed for speed, and quite honestly, you don't need to worry about that for a little while. Now let's talk about what gear you don't need. And maybe you've seen your friends or, triathletes on TV using some of these things, and it may lead you to believe that triathlon is unattainable. Well, we're just here to dispel those myths and make it clear for you. You don't need to go out and spend a lot of money. First of all, you don't need bike shoes with clip-in pedals. And in fact, this, could lead to accidents and such in your early races if you're not super comfortable with using those. So, just use a standard pedal, wear your running shoes, and that's perfectly fine. You don't need a triathlon bike or other expensive bike. If you really love biking and you think, this is a great opportunity to go out and, buy something new that I'll enjoy, feel free to do that. But also realize, again, you can go to a garage sale or Facebook Marketplace or, something like that to buy an inexpensive bike. You do not need aero bars, and that's, again, another one where, you could actually have an accident if you're not really comfortable using those bars. You don't need an aero helmet. Again, just, buy a standard helmet, make sure it's not past its expiration date so that it is providing that protection for you, and you will be good to go. And a triathlon suit. Again, you do not have to have that. If you want to go out and buy it because it makes you comfortable, go ahead, but realize that for your first race, while you're just trying to see, hey, do I like triathlon and multisport racing, it's really okay to race without one. Okay, so are you pumped and ready to get started in triathlon or multisport racing? Visit zoomtrifest.com to get registered for an event and to see our training plans and other resources. There are tons of resources out there. I really encourage you to take advantage of, the full training plans, ways to just, get stronger in one of the sports, answer some questions with some FAQs. There, is a wealth of information out there. And if you find something missing and you have a question, you can feel free to reach out to our team. We would be more than happy to help. Welcome to the triathlon and multisport community.